It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
This is how I found out through Ancestry at 28 years old that the man who raised me is not my biological father, and that my mother bullied everybody into keeping it quiet for 28 years. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start from the beginning. So, about right before COVID, maybe right at the beginning of COVID, I was nosy. I went downstairs in the basement. I found these pictures, and the pictures was from like my first birthday party. I've never seen these pictures. Didn't know they existed because there are no pictures of me as a kid in the house. Only pictures that exist are like my newborn pictures that you take in the hospital, and then it skips to like 3. So I never had any pictures of me as like a young kid. So I didn't know what these pictures were. I went upstairs, I asked my mother. My mother was like, oh my God, I don't know where these pictures came from. Where'd you find this? So I sent it to my sister, who's 12 years older, who has a different father. But she's my mother's other daughter. So I sent this to her and I asked her, and she was like, we could talk about this when you no longer live in your mother's house. And I'm like, what does that even mean? So long story short, I ended up blowing up. Nobody told me the truth. No one said anything. So around like 2020, 2021 is when I found that out. And the pictures are just this man standing over me at my first birthday party. He's looking down on me very lovingly. I'm like, okay, maybe, because my parents technically weren't married until 1999. I was born in 96. So I always thought my parents just maybe weren't together. Maybe they broke up. You know, my mother was seeing somebody else. It was the 90s. Who knows? Okay. So I was like, who is this man? My mother was like, oh, it was some coworker, blah, 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 whatever. Cool. No one said anything else. I ended up moving to Dallas in like 2022. Lived there for like 2 years. It came up again because I still had this weird feeling about this man. I was like, who is this man? I was like, are you my dad? I asked my parents. I was like, is he my dad? I need to know, because I heard about Kerry Washington's book and how she found out that her dad wasn't her biological father because they ended up using a sperm donor. She didn't find out until she started doing the Ancestry, and that's how her parents told her. So I was like, I need to know just in case, like, because my dad was having surgeries, and I was like, I need to know in case, like, I'm trying to give him blood, or God forbid, like, a kidney or something, and they were like, you can't give him that, you're not related to him, and I'm like, what? Because that's weird. I would like to know. So my parents were like, no, he's your father, he's not your father. I mean, he is your father, you know, the man that raised me. He is your father, he's your father, he's your father. My father blew up on me one time because I kept asking, and he got frustrated, and he was like, I'm not your father. Now, for those who don't know my father lies for fun. My father lies to lie. He just likes to play games. He's a very big joker. Kind of childish, but he plays a lot. So I didn't take it as serious because, again, he only said it out of frustration of me asking a bunch of times. And then I asked my mother because I found out my birth certificate said it was issued 8 years after I was born. So I was like, that's weird. Like, why? I've never seen that before because I never noticed it. But I looked at it and I was like, that's weird. I asked my mother. She said, that's still my father. She said, like, that's your father. That's your father. That's your father. That's your father. So I moved back from Dallas this year. I'm 28 years old. My brother's like, let's do Ancestry. This was like October. I'm like, cool, I'll do Ancestry with you. Just thinking we would find out more about our mother's side of the family because my father's side had already done Ancestry and we knew what their genetics was. I'm thinking it would be like a cute little way to find out genetics. Everybody knew I was doing this. Nobody stopped me. No one had a conversation. No one said anything. I do the Ancestry. My brother does his first.
Because you were
I had
nosy.
mine. I accidentally left mine in my mother's car. My mother was supposed to ship it out for me because it was already done. I accidentally left it in her car. I said, can you just put it in the mailbox? 2 weeks later, I find it in the back of her car after she claimed she mailed it. She's like, I don't know what I mailed. Red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 was when I mailed it. Again, no one said anything. Everybody left it alone. My brother gets his results back. He connects with my dad's side of the family. Cool, fine, no problem. I get my results back late because, again, we had sent it late because she hid my test, basically. I get my results back, and my brother is showing up as my half brother or my nephew. And I'm like, that's so weird. So I keep refreshing it for like 4 days. I'm like, that's not happening. That's not possible. My brother's not my half brother. That's not possible. I'm like, maybe I did the test wrong. So I'm looking it up. The results are saying they're 99% effective and right. So you're seeing what you're seeing. I told my brother was like, yeah, it's probably just, it just needs a little bit more time. I'm like, yeah, it probably just needs more time. Delusional. Both of us, just delusional. So then we go to, I finally see the results. I see it. I tell my mother. I was like, yeah, my results say my brother's my half brother. She goes off on my brother, telling him how he should have never brought this up, blah, 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 blah. Blames him, basically. Then I go to my sister. And I'm like, hey, I found the results. And the results said DJ, my younger brother, is my half brother. And she's like, how does that make you feel? And I was like, you're playing with me, right? Because this is terrible. I've been asking y'all for the past 4 years if he was my father, ever since I found that photo, and y'all have been acting weird. Well, come to find out, that man is not my father. And I have a whole different father. I have siblings that exist in the same area. Mind you, I live in DC. The DMV is not that small. I mean, it's not that big. It's actually pretty small. So you're telling me for 28 years, I've lived within 30, 40 minutes of my entire family that I didn't know existed. I have another grandmother. I have aunts and uncles. I have cousins. I have siblings with children. I was like, you didn't say a word? And I was dating in the DMV before I moved to Dallas. So I could have been dating my cousin. Like, that blew me. So then I go to my mother and I'm like, okay, well, I found the results. I sent her the results. I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. Because now we have the truth. This woman tells me that my father is my father. The man who raised me is my father. She stands 10 toes down on that. And on top of that, she tells me I'm adopted. She tells me I'm adopted and it was a closed adoption. I look just like this lady. Now, mind you, I found out I look just like my biological father, but I look just like my mother. Everyone, my entire life has always told me I look just like my mother because they didn't know what my biological father looked like. But I look like this woman. And my test did not say that my brother was not my brother. They just say he was my half brother, and I only connected with the people that he connected with on our maternal side. So this woman refuses to tell me the truth. The whole family is upset with me because I have brought this up. I am pissed. I am mad. I'm angry. And I have every right to be. This has set me back like 5 years in therapy. I am also on antidepressants, and I'm trying not to crash out. So that is how I spent the very last part of my 2024. I know y'all sitting here thinking, oh, your mother, she probably meant well. No, she did not. And I will tell you, relax. You're going to figure it out real soon. But my mother is not who y'all think she is. She's not a saint, okay? She's not nice, not good, not a good woman at all. But my father, I expected better. My father was my favorite person in the whole world. I was a diehard daddy's girl. I trusted him with my life. I would have died for that man. For him to not have spoke up and told me the truth, honestly told me the truth without making it seem like some type of lie he didn't figure it out again because he frustrated or he mad at. He never sat down and had that conversation with me. That was hurtful. That was painful. I've also heard that, he felt like nurture over nature, which again, I never said he wasn't my father. He raised me, okay? He is I am who I am because of that man, yes. But that does not diminish the fact that this was very painful, this was very hurtful, and I don't know how to continue a relationship the way I did with my father because of this, because now I know. So anyway, I'm going to show y'all the photo of my biological dad standing behind me at my birthday party. I'm also going to clip the video of my mother talking to me. Now, before I post that, I want y'all to understand, I am a child of trauma. My mother is expected to have done something like this. She's not a good person. She's always done something mean and evil to me. I can go down a laundry list of things, but I will tell you this. Cheyenne, me, is on antidepressants. I have anxiety and depression. I have PTSD because of this woman alone. I have been trying for years, my entire life, to start and continue a relationship that's cordial with this woman. She does have past trauma, but I do not excuse it. Okay? I'm going to post the video and you tell me how you feel. This is the photo I found in the basement. This is my biological father, and that is me. I had never seen this picture before. It was brand new to me. I knew that was me. I know what I look like. But I did not know what this man looked like. And it threw me through a loop. So I asked everybody, and they didn't tell me. Next is a video with my mama. Trigger warning. It is gaslighting. So be prepared.
But he said, if I'm not mistaken, when I talked to his dead partners, he just said, well, 5 years from now, it's going to change. The numbers are going to change.
5 years from now, the numbers are going to change, yes.
Why?
Because they're adding in new data. But it does not
That
change
doesn't
when
make
it comes
any
to
sense.
close connections.
No. Now you want to mix apples and
I'm
oranges.
not mixing apples and oranges. I'm
If
telling you
it's-
what happens. The
if it's
percentages can
1%
change
today,
because
how
more
can it
people
change?
are using Ancestry.
Then
So
how does
would you
that-
guys like to take an Ancestry test? So if I ask Dad to take one, is it going to match his? Is what
Ask
I'm
him.
asking.
Why are you asking me? My
Because
name is
you
Lisa.
birthed me.
And you're
You
talking to me
told
like I'm your friend.
me we're not
That's
friends.
not-
We are not friends.
And
we
that's
are
why
not.
you're not going to talk to me
We
like
are
that.
not friends, Mom. I have never spoken to you in a friendly way. I'm
You're
speaking
right.
to you as my mother.
No,
I
you're
came
not.
in
You're
here
talking to me
and
like
I
I'm
asked you a
supposed
question. I said, I have a question I would
And I
like to
sat there
ask.
and I listened.
And I
You asked a
said,
question, I gave an answer. You didn't like that answer. I can't help it.
because it doesn't seem like the right
I'm
answer.
so sorry. I'm sorry. You was adopted. I don't know. By me. So you didn't do an ancestry test by me.
So if I do an ancestry test with Dad and it comes back that he's not my biological father, then what? Then what's the
Then do one on
answer?
me. Then you're gonna see I'm not your biological mother either.
So who is? Can you tell me who that is?
I wouldn't know.
Why? Why wouldn't you know?
Because when we have closed adoptions,
They had a closed adoption, and I look like you, and your side of the family.
and who does Robert looks like?
He's not a part of the family.
Robert is not part of my family.
Isn't he the one that was adopted in, or was it Randy?
Neither one. Robert's mother was Aunt Marie.
And who does he look like? His father?
He looks like Keith, and he looks like Uncle.
Who is Keith? Keith is our cousin. He looks like the male versions on your side.
Because he is
I
a
look
man.
like the female versions on your side. But the test is saying half brother or nephew. It said 89% chance half brother or uncle or grandfather. I sent you the results. You can look at it. You can look up
First of
Ancestry to go through all the results and see how you feel about what Ancestry's rates of being correct are. That's fine. But I'm telling you what the results say. And I'm asking you again the last time.
And I want you to remember the answer I gave because I don't have to keep answering.
So you're saying my dad is dad.
Your dad is Donald William Younger. No, senior now.
Senior. That's my biological father.
Yes.
100%.
So 4 times you're gonna ask me the same
I just,
question, and you think you're gonna get a different
because
answer.
how do you keep saying yes, but the results say no?
Because you're mixing science with, you're mixing reality with bullshit. And I even told DJ, I said they could take your, okay, and then the blood, you did, sputum, so your saliva, do whatever the hell they want with it, and give you whatever results they want with it. So,
But I was still matching with Uncle Michael and Brittany.
you wouldn't match 100% with
It wouldn't. It doesn't mean. It would mean there would be some type of percentage
Oh.
at all.
But again,
There's no percentage at all.
If today it's 20%, and 5 years from now it'll be 40%.
That's not what he means when it changes. He says that when it changes, it means that you could be 28% Guyanan, and then next week be 14% Guyanan, and then technically you're 14% Tobago and whatever.
Well, how does that change if it's
Because more
And you're-
people are taking the test.
right? You would think it would get stronger if more people are taking the test.
Well, then they also realize that the DNA strands are a little bit different. Again, the paternity doesn't change. The ratio of how many, origins you come from might change. Both my maternal and paternal side says South Carolina. But my brother is my only close match, and it says half brother or nephew.
Isn't that thing like 23
Yes.
Oh,
And if I did that as well, if you did that as well, it would say half
and
brother.
you'd be in a lawsuit with them.
I would be suing them because they lied.
They didn't lie.
Because their answers are wrong.
Why the answers
Because
wrong?
why am I suing them?
Oh, because they're in trouble for lying to people.
Okay, well, I didn't do it 23andMe. I did Ancestry.
Isn't that the same thing?
No, it's two different companies.
But they're doing the same thing.
Two different ways. They're not in a lawsuit because they're not lying to people.
Okay.
Alright. Thank you for your answer.
All right, let's clear some things up. One, my sister is not my mother. My sister is my sister. My brother is my brother. Our mother that you heard in that video is our biological mother. So sad to say, I'm so sorry. I know y'all wish better for me, but that is my truth. Two, sadly after that video, I did end up asking her again because I'm still in disbelief. I still can't believe she's gaslighting me. I did end up asking her. She literally got up from the bed because I asked her while she was in bed. She got up from the bed, called my father over. He came over to the house because he's at my grandmother's. He came over to the house and we got into an arguing session because he told me that I didn't have a right to ask any more questions to her. That is her past. And that's it. He told me to go find out the truth outside of the house because they didn't want to talk about it. I didn't have a right to know. That is also another reason why I don't know how to have a relationship with my father, because that was very painful. Trying to tell me that I'm, her past and I don't have a right to know about basically me. Now, on top of that, because you just witnessed her gaslighting, my mother is also a liar. People, honestly, sometimes believe her. After a while, they don't, but for the most part, they do. What I believe, because, again, I had to find out that stuff by myself. What I believe is that my mother lied to my father that raised me and told him this big elaborate story because she did not want to be with my biological father anymore because they broke up and she didn't like him anymore. And so my father who raised me believed it, and that's why he took me in and changed my name, all that fun stuff. That's probably also the story that he believes now. I do believe that he thinks that if he finds out the truth, it might change his relationship with his wife. Unfortunately, I don't care because that is my truth. It is very, very painful to have to keep trying to build a relationship with these people, and all they're doing is traumatizing me. If anyone knows a way for me to sue them for my therapy compensation, please let me know. Because at this point, I'm in weekly sessions and up my antidepressants just so that I don't crash out. Because this is a lot. Mind you, I also had to go through this through Thanksgiving. I had to sit with the entire family and not say a word. And then Christmas, I spent it by myself because I did not want to spend it with anybody else. By then, everybody knew that I knew. We all had the sessions of arguments that we've had. We've had the gaslighting sessions. I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to fake the funk. I was tired. I still am tired. I did find my biological father. He is a great guy. He's very nice. I do look just like him. I love him. He's very nice. We are building a relationship, so don't worry about that part. I found my father that day that she acted like that. And then right after, when I had that arguing session with my father, I drove to my sister's house in Fairfax. And I found my father immediately. I was not playing. I do not play. I get down. I found him immediately. And then I called him, and he knew who I was immediately. He said he's been looking for me my entire life. So I did finally reconnect with him. We are rebuilding our relationship because he knew me first. So that's the good part about that. Now, on top of that, while this whole thing has been happening, I had been planning my father's surprise 65th birthday party. I had to sit through the entire planning phase and then sit through, well, not the entire, I planned halfway through, I found out, but I had to sit through his entire birthday party and not say a word. I had to fake the funk in front of all his friends, all his family, blah, 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 blah. Everybody at that party had no clue that I knew and that I hated pretty much everybody. So, again, very painful because I literally was throwing a party for this man. That's how much I loved my dad. So to go through this and to experience all this and for him to not have my back and to tell me that he was protecting his peace, your peace cost me everything for me. Like I'm stuck. My whole world is shattered just so you can be peaceful. That's crazy to me. But yeah, I did find my bio dad from a website that I use. I'm going to show you real quick. So hopefully you can see it, but it's called fastpeoplesearch.com. I use it, for dating to be safe. I'm very much an investigative, specialist when it comes to who I'm talking to. I found out somebody had a warrant one time, definitely blocked. I keep myself safe, especially in the DMV. You can never trust nobody. Everybody be lying. So I use this to find my mother, actually. I found her on here, and then I looked up her old address because I knew that her and my bio dad ended up living together at some point. I found that address. Now, by then, I had already known, after talking to family members, what his name was. I knew his first name. I just could not find his last name because no one really knew him as his legal first name. They knew him by his nickname. So when I found his first name underneath associates, underneath that address associated with my mother, I searched him up on Facebook first. He kind of looked like me. I saw that nose and I was like, this looks real familiar. Then I ended up calling him from the number I found on there, and I found him that way. That's how I found him. Now, as far as my father telling his side of the story, I honestly did not think that everybody and their mama was going to see this. I'm not going to lie to you. I was hoping, but I didn't really think it was. So I don't know how he feels about, coming on here and saying his side. I will ask him. I will let him know. I did put his picture up without his permission. So again, bear with me. I just figured, since it wasn't his full face, it was just that nose, that it'd be okay. But again, I have to respect his privacy because this was more so me telling my truth and me telling my side. I did ask him, what happened between him and my mother. He did say they just didn't work out because my mother was a bit much. She has a very big personality. My mother is from Brooklyn, New York. She's from Marcy Projects. She's from the projects. Okay, she's loud. She's all over the place sometimes. Sometimes her personality is a bit much for certain people. Most of the time she barks more than she bites, which I think irritates a lot of people. So they think she's scarier than she actually is. I had to learn that she seems scarier than she actually is. That was something I had to learn the hard way growing up. So that's why I wanted to come out here and I wanted to tell my truth because honestly for I think 28 years, everybody just kept me as like this big secret, like who I really was and who I really am. Just was this big secret that I didn't want to be it anymore. I don't want to be her deep, dark secret. I always felt like my mother didn't like me anyway. She always treated me like that. I'm not going to lie to you. That situation where her telling me I was adopted was not new to me because she's also tried to palm me off into other people. She said multiple times that if someone came up to her and was like, oh my God, I love Cheyenne. She's such a great, kid, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She would be like, oh, you love her? You want her? Here's her Kaiser card. And for y'all who know what Kaiser is my medical card. She would basically be like, here, take her. She's done that my whole life. It's never been a joke. It's always been serious. There's a laundry list of stuff I can tell you about my mother. I don't really want to tell y'all unless y'all really want to know. I have a voicemail of what this lady has said before. So if that gaslighting video wasn't enough for you, just let me know. But this was more so me speaking my truth, me letting the world know that I know the truth, I know who I am, and I'm not letting her get away with hiding me anymore. And I'd say I think everybody should be able to know their truth regardless of how a person feels. So first of all, I want to say thank you, everybody. This has been so overwhelming. I thought this was like a DMV TikTok blow up. I didn't know it was gonna be further. So give me a little bit of grace, y'all. I'm trying to get to everybody's questions. I did make a little list of what questions y'all need to hear, like, you know, information for. I got you. Stay tuned. So the first thing I want to address is the Ancestry results. I'm going to show you an example so that I better explain it so you know what it looks like when your sibling basically shows up as your half sibling. So give me 1 second. All right, so this is what it looks like when, you know, it shows up as your half sibling. Of course, I blurred out the information because that's none of your business, but it did say half brother or nephew, and it does say maternal side. It says 22% DNA because you technically share 50% of each parent. So I guess it differs on which side of the parent, you know, which side you get more of, but you basically get up to 50% of your parent. And this is what it looks like. That's why me and my brother were looking at it like, this is not right. And we kept refreshing it because it was weird. Now, as far as sitting through my father's 65th birthday party that I threw, I did cancel it. Very much so. I canceled it. I said I didn't want to do it. I literally told my mother, I gave her all this stuff. I was like, you figure it out. Figure out how to pay for it. You do it. But then after talking with some family members, I decided to reroute the way I was thinking about it. I threw it as a going away party. I treated it like this is the last family event I will ever be at with this family ever again. Unfortunately, you will not be seeing me for Christmases, Thanksgivings. Don't call me for birthdays, Father's Day, Mother's Day. I mean, I didn't really celebrate Mother's Day anyway, clearly. But I was not participating in anything else. I treated it like a going away party. Everybody who was there at the birthday party had no clue. And they're probably just everybody's basically finding out this information just like you are. So please don't beat me up too much. I did what I had to do. I already paid for everything. I was like, it was like a couple weeks before. I was like, I'll just go through it. But I treated it like a going away party. I can tell you that much. I went out. Now, as far as why it took me so long to cut them off, unfortunately, I did grow up in a household where both parents, you know, are big on honor thy mother and thy father. I did listen to older people who would tell me, you know, you have to honor thy father and thy mother. That's still your mother. That's still your mother. That's still your mother. And I tried to grow up with that aspect of trying to be a better daughter than she was with her mother. I thought that was the best way I could break the generational trauma of continuing the cycle of having this rough, evil relationship with your mother. Because unfortunately, I am not the first generation who has had to go through that. This is generational trauma that you guys are witnessing. So I thought in order for me to do it, I was going to have to just work through it. No. I absolutely cut her off. I just want y'all to know. After that argument with my father, when she had him come to the house and argue with me, I told her she was dead to me. And that was the last time I spoke to her. That was before my dad who raised me's 65th birthday party. That was before Christmas. That was before New Year's. I have not spoke to her since. I refuse. I will not continue contact. I have gone no contact. I do not live in that house. I will not speak to her. She does not exist to me. I have cut all ties. I have blocked her, everything. Also, another thing, with all those people saying honor thy mother and all this other stuff, I chose to believe that the God that I serve absolutely loves me just the same for choosing my peace and to let that go. I feel like I was constantly being hurt because I was holding on, and that was my problem. That was something I had to learn. I'm giving myself grace. You know, I'm working through it in therapy. Again, I have a session tomorrow. Shout out to my therapist. It's something we're working on. I'm a work in progress. Like, I'm not this fully formed product. I am human. I do not see my mother as human anymore. I see her as something else. But I am human, and I know I make mistakes. And I did make a mistake in trying to be a better daughter. But that's something I'm working through. Now, as for my bio dad, I know who my biological father is. I have met my biological father. He is not Sugar Bear, y'all. Y'all are funny. That is not my dad. My bio dad did not need a DNA test. Because if you couldn't tell from that photo that I shared, he very much looks like me. If you imagine my face on a man, it's pretty much what it is. As far as, again, me sharing any other information about him, I have to speak with him to let him know. This has gone farther than I have ever expected. I'm trying to be gracious of everybody else's personal identities, and, you know, because this wasn't, I wanted to let everybody know my family thing. It was, I just wanted to speak my truth and what I have experienced, especially when it came to my mother. I felt like that was very healing for me. And I will speak with him, and I will let him know. Fingers crossed, y'all. This is a brand new relationship. I'm scared he's gonna be mad, but who knows? He's a very nice guy, so we'll see. Then I know some people asked. I will preface this by saying this will be a trigger warning. All of this that I'm about to say is trauma. It is traumatic. Some people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, how did you go through this?" I'm still here, and that's all that matters. I'm gonna preface this by again saying, trigger warning. Be prepared. It is a lot. I will say that, yes, my mother and I have had issues my entire life. She's always low-key hated me. High-key hated me. Always treated me bad. Let's start from, I want to say, one of the earlier experiences. One year, I want to say maybe 6-7 years old, I remember her getting mad at me right before my birthday. And she literally made me look up at the wall that said a happy birthday sign. She said, "You're not having a birthday this year." And I didn't. Taking away a child's birthday is disgusting. That could have been my last. Another example is my 8th grade graduation. I graduated from Catholic school. And my mother was upset because of something my aunt had told her about something I was doing while she was out of town with my father. Mind you, my older sister was watching this. I was doing it with my older sister. What I was doing was being on Facebook, talking to my sister. My mother was pissed about that, and she cussed me out from Hyattsville to Bowie, Maryland. If you don't know how far that is, that's a good, I want to say 20-30 minutes. But 20-30 minutes of getting cussed out on your graduation day, disgusting. Ruined it. Next example. I was in high school. One day, mind you, I'm from the DMV. I rode Metro. I knew how to get home, to get to school, back from school safely. Okay, I rode Metro. I knew how to take care of myself pretty much. So for the most part, my father would drop me off on his way to work. The one who raised me, he would drop me off on his way to work because he worked downtown. And then I would take the bus or train home because I also used to have after-school activities. One day, my mother decided to pull up to my high school, and she was looking for me. She called me, and I was at the bus stop around the corner, and she's like, "Why aren't you in front of the school?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I come back to the school. There are not a lot of people in the front of the building, but there's enough people that probably told the whole school, and there's security, and there's a couple teachers. She cursed me out on the steps of my high school and told me about how I should have been there. You could have been kidnapped. I don't know why you weren't here. You knew I was picking you up. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Cussed me out in front of everybody standing outside at the end of a school day. My mother has never picked me up from school. Matter of fact, I don't even like her dropping me off at school because I used to have horrible days because she was in my space. I didn't like it, okay? It's another example. There's so many. One time my mother sat here, and so I accidentally melted the seat cover with my curling iron. It was a small little melt. It wasn't nothing big. I forgot about telling them. Mind you, I was also in college, so it wasn't like I was a child and I did it. I was in college. I just forgot. So she sees it months later, and she's like, "What is this?" And I come in the bathroom, I'm like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you I accidentally melted it with my curling iron. It was an accident, I'm sorry." She said, "Oh, like your birth? How you gonna tell your child to their face that they were an accident? On purpose. Like, said it full out." I mean, my mother has always done stuff like that. This is not nothing new. Her telling me I'm adopted, yes, it is absolutely horrific. but it's not the worst that I've heard from her. It's to be expected. My mother has never really liked me. And yes, that probably is from the fact that I look like my father. I am my father's child. She's probably upset about that. But to blame me my entire life for an action that you did is crazy. And I'm done. I can't. That's why I said this was it for me, because before I was just trying to figure out a reason why my mother hated me so much. I could not figure out a reason why. I always tried to make her happy. Always did things to make her, like, I always was like people pleasing for her. It was always to try to do better so I can get her praise. I never got it. Again, something I worked on. I no longer care. But even when I moved back from Dallas, I was trying to keep that cordial relationship because I'm like, okay, we're still family. You know, you're still my mom. Even though I hate you, you know, we can make this work. We cannot. I cannot make it work with someone who literally hates my guts because she had sex and had a child. And that child is me. How is that my fault? Don't know. But because she couldn't take it out on my dad, I guess, I was the next best thing. So, again, I am in therapy. I am healing. It is a process. I will also be including a voicemail that I have kept. And this, mind you, this is 2016. I was in college. It had to be sophomore or junior year of college. There is no reason this woman should be talking to me like this. Because once again, I told you, in high school, I knew how to take Metro. In college, I knew how to take Metro. Why are you worried about what I'm doing? But I'm going to roll the clip.
Cheyenne, I'm not the one that you need to not motherfucking answer this goddamn phone for. Your ass will walk the fuck home if you think you that fucking grown.
What it do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. We back in the confessional, and yes, we staying lit, big dog. Hey, shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. Shout out to my player partner, Lucky Wheels of Deals. He keeps it lit. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you comment and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Hit the links below. We got HiveMindLabs.com. We got Opulence Scents, man. Thank you for everybody who been hitting that like button. Shout out to everybody for the Cashapps, for the super chats, man. Y'all keep it lit, man. That's what we here for, okay? I'm here to keep it lit, keep y'all entertained. You know what I'm saying? Keep y'all funky. Now, let's get into it now. I'm going to just say this. She just needed, she been dying for a reason to not be a part of this family. And God said, keep the party going. He gave her the wine to keep the party going and got her the hell up out of there. He said, yeah, they ain't even your family. Now, the older sister knew. Older sister was like, she was just back there snickering. She about to find out. Older sister, you ain't shit. You know, but she didn't want, that wasn't her story to tell. So she didn't tell it, which is rightfully, the sister did right. That's between you and mama. You want to get the truth, you go to mama or find out on your own, because I ain't getting into it. My name is Bennett and I ain't in it. And she all right, I ain't in it. You know, I do think the father who raised you had nothing to do with that. He was just minding the woman that he took care of. He was minding his wife. I see nothing wrong with that. You, my child, I raised you. But I'm going to tell you what, he could have showed a little grace. Look, you might find out the truth, but just know, you always my baby girl. Blood don't make us family. What I did for you, I do it over again. That's all you got to say as a father. You know what I mean? So, I don't feel bad for her feeling that way. I just feel like I wish that she could have had a better outcome with the father, because it wasn't his story to tell either. Because as a father that's taking care of another child, I would imagine that it's like, man, I don't know what I would do, but I think I would be like, I mean, just like a nosy ass woman you are, keep looking, you gonna find something, you know. You look hard enough, you gonna find something. Okay? You know, when y'all women think that a man cheating on you, you keep looking, you gonna find something. It don't matter what it is. Oh, you got a text from 1989 with this girl. Oh, when we was on school prom and you was texting this chick. Like, baby, it was 1989. You know what I'm saying? So, the mama was a bit of, she was probably embarrassed, and her pride wouldn't let her go. But this woman, Cheyenne, shout out to Cheyenne. Cheyenne she was fed up with it. She didn't want to be in that family anyway, and she got a reason to go, and rightfully so, man. You know, I don't think she should have canceled the father's birthday party. I think with her thinking and having the intuition that she wasn't his, and seeing the picture, and then everything, and she started to, you know, get suspicious, and I think she started to check out, and she seen that daddy wasn't budging because he was just doing what his wife said. And I'm pretty sure him and his wife talked about it several times. Your mom, I bet they talked about it several times. Like, what should we do? Like, and he was like, I bet the father was like, man, I just don't want to keep lying to her. And the mom was like, no, she don't need to know. That man ain't did nothing for her. I raised her. I did this. I bet she was doing all that. So you better ask if the father who raised you, if your mama argued his ass down, because she probably did. He probably was like, no, I don't feel right doing this. That's why he joked around. He was joking, but he was telling you the truth. Sometimes you got to say it with a joke, because technically it is. Like, I raised you. And then the other father, biological father, he's saying, I've been looking for you. I couldn't find you. Shut up. I hope she find him and that he's a good person. I really do, because ain't no way I'm going to have a whole baby out here and I just go ghost just because she want me to. Nah, we going to see about this. We going to see about this. I'm going to be in my kid's life whether you like it or not. So I'm kind of leery about her meeting her father and finding out the truth about him. I wouldn't put too much into it, sister. But it's good that you find this information out. But I'll hold his feet to the fire, really. Hold him accountable. You can still build a relationship, but hold him accountable, because that's crap. I mean, what, you 20-something years old or something like this? This is crap. That's crap. That I couldn't find you. Man, you know how many people you find on Facebook? You know the mama. Man, y'all in the same area. Ain't no way. I would have sent one of my kids after you. You know you my sister. Let me tell y'all a story. I know this. I don't care. Half these people gone. My father found out at his wedding, after the wedding, my uncle, shout out to my uncle, he went to my father and was like, hey, you know I'm your brother, right? My dad was like, what? He's like, yeah. So mind you, my dad's 21 at the time. At his wedding. At the wedding. You know, after you take pictures with the family, the bride, you should see, I ain't gonna show y'all a picture of my mama's wedding, but they had all the groomsmen, all the this, and then you see he's being over in the corner. You don't see him in the picture, but you know, my uncle was just over there, just waiting to talk to my dad. So bam, my dad is like, what? So then, bam, argument with my grandma. Then, some other crazy story. My aunt, one of my dad's older sisters on my grandma's side, and my dad's older sister on his biological dad's side had been best friends since elementary. Been over there with my daddy and everything. Walking my daddy to school, all that. Come to find out they share a brother. Ain't that crazy? I mean, I ain't gonna tell you the story of how that happened, but like how my grandma had my dad and how we got the Williams name. But grandma was a Rolling Stone. Holla! Okay. Anyway, let's talk. That's a crazy story. But yeah, that's how my dad found out. So, and my dad, he had a lot of questions. Like, why am I this high yellow Negro and all my brothers and sisters is dark skinned? Okay. And growing up, we used to be like, man, granddaddy, he don't never do this stuff for us. He ain't take us to McDonald's. One time I went over there after leaving the Mecklenburg Center where you go swimming and play basketball and stuff like that. Man, he was acting like a little, you know what I'm saying? I was like, bro, why he acting like this? And, act like he was like tired of me or something or whatever. And I was just like, I felt some type of way. And I was like, man, I ain't worried about it, whatever. It is what it is. Come to find out, the nigga wasn't even my grandpa. So then like as I got older, I was just like, man, I, yeah. Rest in peace to him though. Anyway, I had some childhood traumas from my mama too. I remember my mama came to my school one day. I was showing my ass in school, and I was in music class, just back at it. Little PJ, I'm telling you, PJ was bad because PJ, I was in a grade. I was too young for my grade because I had been skipped up. And I was just acting up, and really immature in the 6th grade. And I was acting up, and my mama came into class. So like, if you know how music class is, you know how y'all sit in like a half moon type deal. And I was sitting up front, and I was sitting on the opposite side of the room from the door. And I seen her walk in the door. She stood over there with a belt, looking like some ninja warrior. And everybody looked over there and was like, "Ooh, who is that, mama?" I looked up, and she said, "PJ, come here." Or she called me Pizza Head. Pizza Head, come here. I was like, they was like, "Pizza Head." I was like, oh shit. I didn't say that, but I was like, I walked over there. She got to swinging. Wham, wham, whooping me in front of the class, walked me right out the class. I was so embarrassed. I got into some situations that day. That was my trauma. But I ain't gonna lie, I ain't no trauma. I was a badass kid. But needless to say, my mama beat love into me. I beat you because I loved you. You know what I'm saying? I love my mama. But nah, for real, that ain't no trauma. But I was just sharing that story because, hell, I don't understand these parents. My mama loved me. I don't understand how a mama could not love her kid. Who couldn't love this face? You know what I'm saying? What? Mama loved me. Mama loved my sisters. They never had no big beef. You know? I mean, I don't want to tell y'all business, but, my mama didn't even whoop my sisters. My mama whooped me daily. Like, you know what I'm saying? I should be the one traumatized by my mom. But you know what? She loved me the most. You guys, my sisters, you love PJ. You always do this with PJ because I'm her only son. You know what I'm saying? Hating on me. My sisters gave me the most. My sister used to beat the brakes off of me as a kid. You know what I'm saying? I got more trauma from my sister than my mama. You know what I'm saying? I might need a therapist from all the whoopings I took from my sister. If y'all see my sister in the streets, y'all say, how you whoop on everyday PJ like that? Shit. Okay? I don't know. Some families, sometimes you gotta whoop your family members to show them you love them. Maybe she didn't get enough whoopings as a kid. Her mama just hated her. Wanted to give her away. My mama tried to give me away too. But I was bad. It wasn't like... I remember my mama put me out the car one time. He can't get back in my car. Call my daddy. All the way over to pick me up. I was so bad. I was that bad. My mama put my black ass out the car and made my daddy come get me. Yeah, so, Y'all don't be hard on my mom. My mama love me. But that's the truth. You know? Sometimes you go through that. I just don't want to make this girl feel so bad for having a shitty mama. My mom was a good person. And she little too. You know what I'm saying? I heard, man, she little giving me whoopings. I used to act like they hurt. As soon as she leave, I be like, God damn, glad that's over with. Let me get back on this video game. She done interrupted my game to whoop me, knowing damn well I'm finna do whatever I was doing again, okay? Then y'all be like, PJ, you such a good kid. How you end up in jail? Well, all right. Enough about me and my family lineage. We got some stories too, but that's for another day. Everyday people, let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna holler at you later. Peace.